Hi, y'all, and welcome to Dream and Faith,
a podcast for young women who are looking to achieve their dreams while keeping Jesus at the center.
I'm Jenna and
And I'm Sarah Peyton King.
and we are both singer-songwriters with really big dreams.
Big, big, big dreams. And today we're going to be talking about how one of the dreams that we have in common is pursuing the Lord and growing closer to Him. So we're going to talk about what we're doing right now, what our routines are, and how we're holding each other accountable in that as well. But before we get into that, Jenna, the Super Bowl was yesterday.
Yes,
what did
was.
you do?
Well, I invited a few of our friends over,
Yes.
and a lot of guys. Ratio was not fired. Not fired. How?
So funny.
But it was really fun. Everyone sat on, we have a really big couch. Everyone sat on the couch and just watched
Yeah.
the Super Bowl together.
That couch
Me
is...
and the girls kind of clocked out after the first hour, maybe.
Nice.
Watched the halftime show and then dipped, basically. Which, in all fairness, it wasn't that exhilarating of a game. I love sports.
Yeah.
We love sports.
We love sports.
But if it's not a great game and I don't care about the teams, it's really hard for me to be invested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I hear you. That couch
But what about you?
is elite, though. You said
The
so,
couch is amazing.
It's incredible. I went to a family from church. They were hosting like kind of our
Fun.
entire community, which was so fun. They
Yeah.
have a huge house and they have chickens.
Yeah.
And so
Which is crazy because it wasn't one of the chickens the one that was in the Talk of the Town music video?
yes.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Leia?
Probably Princess
Yeah.
Leia.
Princess Leia.
So cute. But
And you chase the
I'll
chickens.
show you a picture actually. And we can show the people too the picture.
Did
of
you
me.
watch the game? Like, actually?
Yes, I did actually. The last quarter I ended up really locking in,
Hmm.
but before then I wasn't really locked in. Like, it's a 0.5. It's very funny.
We'll show the camera.
Me and the chicken.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it was really fun, and I love the Snyders. And
Yeah.
it was just a sweet time. And then one of the guys there used to play for the Seahawks.
Oh,
So
wait, that's fun.
I know. I said, are any of your teammates still like on the team? And he was like, nope. The only guy in the league that I played with is Aaron Rodgers. And that guy's old.
That's funny.
So funny. But
That's
yeah,
funny.
It was fun. And then
You had well, we played volleyball, which is really fun.
Until
I played
the
till 1 a.m., which is insane.
And then got in and out, which is even more insane.
Yeah, I was so hungry. I didn't have dinner. I was so hungry. But this morning, you left volleyball early because you
I
had
did.
small group,
I did.
which is so fun. What did you guys learn in small group?
Ooh, we're in Daniel, which is really fun. The book of the Bible, Daniel. If you haven't read it, you should. It's really like interesting to read because Daniel has crazy dreams and visions, and he can also interpret dreams and visions. And I feel like one thing that I love is Daniel's just obedient. He just listens to the Lord, and he doesn't like, he actually ends up getting put in prison, and then he interprets a dream, and then it's crazy. It's like literally insane. And so today we talked about this one dream that he had where he actually couldn't understand it, which was cool too, where he is usually the one to interpret dreams, but then this time he had a vision, and it was like these goats and these rams, and one of his friends, a guy called on an angel to help interpret it to him. But the dream was for actually like 350 years later. God didn't tell him that, but he was like, but this dream isn't for a while from now, so seal it up and just like keep that in your heart. And so then the girls, we were like, wait, why would God do that? Like,
Yeah.
why would he give him a vision and then be like, but this isn't gonna happen for a really long time from now, so that's just for you, my friend. I don't know. It's interesting.
That is interesting. It's funny because, well, we're on the same reading plan because you put me on, which we should like share exactly what plan we're on because I find it really helpful. It's a 365 reading plan, day reading plan, and reading the Bible in a year.
Yeah.
And I've tried to read the Bible in a year multiple times, but all the plans that I followed are really reading in chronological order, so you're only reading the Old Testament and then the New Testament last, and it's such a huge difference reading a lot of the Old Testament and just a little bit of the New Testament. We're doing, what is it, Genesis, Job, a Psalm, in Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
And it's awesome. I love it so much. But it's funny because I literally am turned to Genesis 17. And when God promises Abraham and Sarah the birth of Isaac, and it's so much later than they anticipated.
Right.
And it's really cool how the Lord can promise us something and we expect that promise to be followed through with tomorrow.
Right.
And
in our lifetime, at least.
Yeah, Daniel got a dream and it wasn't even applied for over 300 years.
Right.
I mean, come on, that's kind of crazy,
No,
but
insane.
it's God's timing.
Right.
You can truly never anticipate when,
Yeah.
when your dream is really going to be followed through with.
Well, and then even that dream was like, it wasn't even, it really had nothing to do with him. It was like the goat represents Media and Persia, and the ram, I think I flipped it. The ram represents Media and Persia, and then the goat represented Greece. And it's like, okay, and so but it just goes to show, like, we don't know God's timing. We don't understand God. He lives so far outside of what our brains can understand.
Yeah.
But even what we brought up at small group was maybe God gave Daniel that vision to like write it down for us, to show us that the Lord does know all and he is in all, because those things like happened, what Daniel dreamt, like that is proven in history. So it is just for the body of believers to see God's faithfulness and to see that he, like, the prophetic gifting of dreams and visions. So
it's amazing.
I don't know.
I love that. Yeah, it is interesting. Even though this is not similar at all, it kind of is. I'm like, in what way can I relate this to my life? But I really did feel like the Lord told me to go into music. And at the moment, it might seem as if I'm quote unquote successful, but really I just see it as, this is an opportunity. I'm not in a place right now where I could actually technically do music for a living for the rest of my life.
Right.
I'm not in that place yet. And I did feel that me and God had a conversation when I was really young, and it felt like there were quite a few promises in that conversation. And so that might not even happen till I'm God knows what age. I could be 40. It could be even a worship project, not even anything pop, not anything I'm currently doing. And so just having peace with that, and also peace that I'm just trying to glorify his kingdom and it has nothing at all to do with me.
Right.
And just knowing that he's going to follow through with his word.
Yeah.
And not worrying about the timing, not worrying about the future is so important.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Let's talk about waiting, because I think that's such a good... I had this revelation, and correct me if we've already talked about it on this, but...
Timing?
I know we've talked about timing and waiting and all that, but this new revelation was that, like, when I realized I had labeled most of the seasons of my life. This is when I turned 25. So I don't think we have, because my birthday was last Sunday. But when I turned 25, I realized I've kind of labeled the last 3 years of my life, kind of post college, as like, okay, I'm waiting, or like I'm in such a waiting season, which is really interesting, because I think when you're growing up, you're in elementary school, and then you're like, okay, well, then middle school's next. Okay, then high school's next. Okay, then college is next. Okay, and then you get out of college, and it's like, whoa, what's next? What am I doing? And I feel like subconsciously, I've just said, oh, I'm in a waiting season. But then I realized, what am I waiting on? Because when we look at scripture, and this is just what I observed, when people are in waiting, it's because they have a explicit promise from the Lord that they are waiting on. And I was like, okay, I have promises of God's character. I have promises of God that he will show up, that he will be with me. But there's really not, like, I don't really have like a promise from the Lord that I'm waiting on. I feel like the main promises that I have is that he's with me, which I experience every day. And so I realized I've been labeling my life as a waiting season, which causes, honestly, like, I don't want to use the term anxiety because it feels so aggressive, but like kind of worry every day of, what am I doing in order to get to where I'm supposed to be? What am I doing in order to achieve the thing that I'm waiting on? But in reality, I really feel like I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And I wanted, for my 25th year, I felt like the Lord was asking me to stop labeling it as a waiting and actually just be and know that I'm actually living in a lot of the promises that God has given me in scripture. Anyway, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, SP, it's so true, because if I look back at 23-year-old SP, it's night and day difference. Yeah. You're living out so many promises that the Lord really truly told you, and he told you to pursue music, and he told you to pursue his church, and you did both of those things, and you're living in a life right now where that was just not exactly the reality 2 years ago. It was, but it wasn't as peaceful as it is right now, and you get to live in peace right now, which is really cool. And there's no striving, and you're just constantly pursuing the Lord. It's not, oh, I need to get this project done. Oh, I need to figure out what I'm going to do for a job. You're just in a place right now where you can truly like ease into the spirit and just grow around the people that are, you know, the body of the church, which is so cool.
Isn't that interesting? Because technically I was also leading worship at a church.
Yeah, exactly.
And releasing music.
Yeah.
But there's something about the Lord had to do some heart work, and he's done so much like work inside of me to get to a place where I genuinely feel like I am resting in his promise, in his hand, like under the shadow of his wing. But it took a long time for me to get here.
For sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's good.
It is just such evidence that if you seek him, you'll find him. And you're living a very similar lifestyle that you were living 2 years ago, and thinking that you're doing all the right things, but your heart posture is completely different. Yeah. And you're so much happier.
Yeah.
It's so sweet.
Happier.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's all about heart posture.
Yeah. And I mean, your dreams didn't necessarily fully change, but your life did change a lot. And the Lord changed you. And that's really cool.
It's so beautiful. It's so cool.
It's so cool.
I'm just being. So. Yeah.
Well, do you think your dreams, because we're talking about dreams changing, is there any way that they slightly changed from 20 to 25?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a 5-year difference. There's got to be something.
That's nuts. I was living in Alabama at 20 years old.
Whoa. That's crazy.
I might have even been. I was
20 last year.
I lived in a trailer park. Did you ever? You knew that? No.
I don't think I knew that. That's crazy. How's it something I never knew about you?
I don't
You lived
know.
in a trailer park?
I lived in a trailer park. It was nuts. It was so awesome. Yeah, I really did the whole Alabama lifestyle. But I lived in a trailer park with one of my sorority sisters. It was not. It wasn't crazy. Like when you think of trailer trash, like
it wasn't that.
It wasn't that necessarily. But it was really fun. And anyway, so when I was 20 years old, I think I was living there. And yeah, I mean, honestly, my dreams were similar. It's just looked different. And it really is the meditations of my heart. And I don't want the thing to have the thing anymore. Like, I don't want the husband to have a husband. It's like, I want a husband because I want to have a family, and I want to build the kingdom together. Like, I can't wait to build the kingdom with my husband. And I don't want to lead worship because I like leading worship. I want to lead worship because God has given me revelation for his body and his church, and I want to facilitate a space for people to reconcile their relationship with the Lord and like to see him rightly. You know, I don't want the thing for the thing. I desire those things truly because of the revelation that God has given me. And I think that might be like, why do we seek him? To gain revelation of who he is. And as we gain revelation of who he is, it makes everything else in life make so much more sense. And so I think that might be the difference, is the things haven't changed, but my revelation of God has changed. Therefore, my pursuit looks different, and my spirit is in peace, and it's just much more gentle. So,
and there's no rush or panic with timing. I think in the South, you're 25 years old, not dating anyone, not married, don't have any kids. There's many people that would be like, are you okay?
No, for real.
For real. And also in Christian culture as well, which I don't know why in the world we just put a timeline on ourselves, which I guess there technically is a clock for females to have children.
Kind of
now.
God can do whatever.
God can do whatever. But yeah, it's so interesting because I do feel like a lot of our friends 2 years ago were dreaming of being wives and dreaming of having families, but it wasn't out of, oh, I really want this because I want something real and I want something that's from the Lord. It's just, oh, I feel behind in life, so I need a husband and I need children.
Right.
That was like the answer to the rush.
Right.
Not just the desire in our hearts being grown to be like, oh, I really want to be a mother. And also, I mean, a lot of women just feel that calling at a very young age and all they want to be is a mom. So I totally get it. That's not what I'm saying.
Totally.
But I feel like in LA, especially as a Christian, people feel, oh, my dreams aren't even happening. Man, I don't even have a family. I don't even have a husband. There's just a lot of panic because of that. If you're striving in your career and also striving in your family life, it's just not a good place to be in. And it's just crazy how much, again, your heart posture changed. Your dreams didn't change, but your heart posture changed in that for sure.
Yes.
Which is really cool.
I think too, what you're saying, so much of LA is how are people perceiving me? How, when people look at my life, what are they seeing?
Yeah.
I think that's also because of
it.
social media and all of these things, but that is a huge part of it. It's like, oh, do people see me and do they think, oh, she's behind, or whatever that may be, which is so not from the Lord and not even close to what it is. But honestly, I think that's been a huge part of my healing is it doesn't really matter. Like, as long as they see Jesus when they look at my life, like, that's the end, that's fine. That's great. If they see nothing else but his face and encounter him, then that's so rad. But what about you when you think about, well, you're only 21, so I don't know, 17-year-old Jenna?
Oh gosh, I think there's a huge difference. I'm about to turn 22 in a couple weeks.
Taylor?
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Did you say Taylor?
Taylor Swift.
Like Taylor Swift. 22 feels about the same as 21, to be completely honest. There isn't a huge difference. I think 23 and 24 I'm associating together, so 23 will be a bit more of a bigger jump. But 22, I think I am actually a lot more ahead than I realize. Even watching the Grammys, which this is a huge jump, but there were so many artists that have been in the game for a decade and aren't having their quote unquote moment or a moment of success until now, and they're approaching 30, And I think for me, I always saw the Olivia Rodrigos and the Billie Eilishes at the ripe age of 16 winning Grammys, and I'm just thinking in my head, man, I'm never going to get to do this for a living. And it's not that I need a Grammy, it's not that I need an award. I just really love music, and it's something I'm really passionate about, and I want to get to do it for a living for the rest of my life. I want to be able to help support my family and do what I'm passionate about. And I've always felt called to music. So that's mainly the main thing. I just want to be able to do it the rest of my life. I don't want to have to give it up. And so, yeah. And I know I never will have to, but to the extent it's currently my whole entire life.
Totally.
And I love it. It's that and Jesus.
Yeah.
And so it's just the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And I think back when I was 15, 16, that was always my dream. Yeah. And I think 16-year-old me would look at me now and think, wow, she has it all and she's there. And it's funny because now 21-year-old me is thinking, oh, I've got so much work to do and there's a lot to go and a lot in the future. But I don't know. It's funny because younger me would look at this and think, man, yep, she's there. Right. And now I'm thinking, oh, there's more. And that I think is kind of I don't think it's an issue because it really is just a reality check. I'm like, I'm not
arrived.
Yeah, I'm not arrived yet. And that's totally okay. But it is really cool to think that younger me would look now and think, man, that's awesome. We're doing what we love. I could have easily gone to school, studied something else, and be working a completely different job.
Totally.
And so I think a part of what was 5 years ago, 16-year-old me, thought that I was going to go to school and just work in business and have to let go of my music career. So it's really cool that I'm still here, still going.
You're thriving.
And I honestly, like, mentally physically thriving. I know that there's a lot to go, but there's so much peace and there's so much grace, and God is so merciful. There's been so many missteps. There's been so many mistakes that I've made within these past 5 years. There's been so many decisions that I didn't make because I was nervous to be confrontational or scared to be rude. And I think I've grown a lot of confidence in being like, oh, this isn't glorifying the kingdom. I don't want to do that. I'm actually making this decision for God and for my spirit. It's not just that, oh, I don't want to do it, I'm going to be a princess about it. And so I think I've grown a lot in that, which is really cool.
Talk about that more, like having hard conversations, kind of advocating for yourself and fighting for what you know is right and what like where you're supposed to be going.
Yeah. I think going into all of my meetings at 17 and telling people I want to be a light for the Lord and I want to be a role model for younger kids immediately puts me in the place of, okay, there are all these other opportunities that we cannot associate to generating, which was a blessing in itself because I told them straight up, this is what I'm doing. This is what I know I'm called to do. And they were all behind it. And when I signed, everyone knew that. But there have been a lot of, I don't know. And my agent, I love my agent. Your agent is who sends you acting auditions. One thing that I felt really convicted of was doing specific self-tapes because there's just a lot of dirty language, a lot of dirty scenes. And I just didn't even feel great doing the self-tape, the audition, let alone the whole entire movie or TV show.
Right.
And I felt like I needed to take a little step back in doing as many self-tapes. And I think my agent was so receptive in that. And that was really cool. That wasn't even really a hard conversation, but just an honest conversation and telling him this is something that I feel really passionate about. And I don't want to go outside of my comfort zone and outside of my morals. And he was very understanding, which was awesome. And then with music, there were just a lot of things that came up. I can think of only a few, but I don't want to like call any names out or anything. But there were a couple songs pitched to me. There were a couple opportunities that I would have been associated with an artist that wasn't necessarily a clean artist. And I just had zero desire to do them, even if it meant money, even if it meant a hit song. It didn't matter. If it didn't glorify the kingdom, if it didn't bring me any peace in doing it, and all it did was freak me out and make me anxious, I'm like, well, that's clearly not the right decision. And I think growing up, I was always told to be a team player, especially growing up in a girl group. You have zero opinion in what you dress and what you sing and what part you're singing and what part you have in the dance routine. There's just zero opinion. There's zero say. And so going into my solo career, even though that was only 4 years of my life, from 10 to 14, those are very pivotal moments and they're engraved in your memory forever. All I remember is having to say yes to everything.
Wow.
And obviously it was a kids group. We weren't doing anything insane, but I didn't get to sing the lyrics I wanted to. I didn't get to do anything I really truly wanted to do. I had zero say. And so going to my solo career, I kind of carried that with me. And I think within the past year, this has been the first time in my life that I've been able to vocalize and opinionate what I truly want to do with my career and what I want to say and how I want to say it. And shout out to my A&R Brad, because he has been such a gem, and same to my management team. They've been so helpful in just telling me like, hey, what do you want to do? And also I think what's really cool that we're now bringing my faith into a huge part of my career, because it's such a huge part of who I am and why I do what I do and why I sing what I sing, and sharing that. They're like, we need you to share this. Like, this isn't our job. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right. I can speak for myself. This is awesome. So that's been a huge step for me. And I think that's just a lot with maturity and growth and becoming an adult and feeling like you have a voice. But I really had to break a habit of just not thinking for myself. I never felt like I could or could have an opinion.
Wow.
And also signing to such a big label, signing to such a big management team at the time when I first signed, I thought, okay, they know what they're talking about. I'm just 17 years old. I know nothing. And so I just kind of sit back and wait for them to tell me what to do, or they would tell me, oh, these songs are great. I'm like, okay, that's the EP then. And I like barely had an opinion. And I remember there were a few moments where I was just so upset because I didn't know how to vocalize what I wanted to do. And I was stuck in some really tricky situations because once people believe, oh, she'll do whatever we say, they kind of feel like they have power over you and your project. And once I started fighting back, they were kind of shocked. And these aren't like a lot of these people I don't even really interact with, the stories that I'm telling interact with anymore. But it was just very trippy. It's very interesting, but really having purpose and knowing that you're here for the Lord. I'm very good at, if something's wrong with someone's order at a table, I can go to the waiter or the waitress and say, hey, you need to fix this. Can you come help and bring a new order? If it's mine, cooked. I'm not saying a word. I'm eating that plate up without any complaints. And it really does feel like I am seated at a dinner table, and if someone serves me something wrong, I'm like, oh, this doesn't glorify the kingdom. Take it back. Can you fix this?
So beautiful.
And so that's kind of the best way that I think I can explain it.
Or it's not what I feel like my purpose is. You know? It's like, even if it's a good thing, it might not be generating. It might not be your thing that you're being asked to do or that you desire to do. And so knowing and figuring out, okay, what is it? What do I actually want to do? What are the things that I want to say yes to, and then the things that I want to say no to? It's so it's hard to get to that place though, because sometimes you don't even necessarily know what it is. But how cool is it? And even as like, I don't have a team of people, I don't have a label, I don't have those things, but I have friends around me that are like so encouraging and saying, hey, I mean, you're one of them. Well, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to release that? Or what are you working on? Like, what's next? Or like, what's on your heart to create next? And I think whether it's a management team, a label, or friends around you that are like asking you those questions and encouraging you, it's like so important. And it's also just cool that that's how your team is kind of like helping you, is they're actually saying, who is Jenna? Let's pull out the gold inside of Jenna, instead of trying to like form you into something.
Which I think is really cool, because I think that's something that the Lord knows about me, is that he built me to be a team player, and he built me to really want to be, I don't want to say like, I'm not sometimes I'm a people pleaser for sure, but I think as women, like, we really just want to be pleasing. Like, we want to be delightful, and we want to be easy to be around. At least I do. And that's something that I really felt with my management and going into this career. I wanted to represent Jesus really well, but also that's just the desire in my heart. Like, I don't want to treat anyone with the wrong intention or just be a brat. So
because you hear so many stories of like, she's such a diva, she's such a this.
Especially about artists. And I think the Lord, knowing that, put people in my life that would encourage me to speak up and encourage me to vocalize what I want. And that's really cool, because it's a very rare thing.
Very well.
Very well. It's a very rare thing in the music industry to be put with a team of people that actually want you to, glorify the name of Jesus, because that's what you believe in. They might not believe in it, but they're saying, no, this is authentic and true to who you are, and this is your artist project, so we need to be speaking your truth. It's not about our truth. And that's really cool, because I honestly can't think of a lot of other of my artist friends that have it that way. So
that's so special. I think too that just speaks, because you had a lot of meetings with different people. Like, you didn't just take the first thing that came your way and said, okay, be my manager. You spent a lot of time in prayer and asked your friends to pray, I'm looking for a manager, I'm looking for management. And so it was really cool even watching you, like, you weren't in a rush. And there was a season where you were without management, and some people would flip out, and there might have been days where you were like, what am I doing? But you waited on the Lord, and it's so special that you did that, because now you have this team that are perfect for for right now, where it feels like you're at in your career, and really encouraging you in the things that you love, which is really special.
And honestly, I went a whole year without management.
Yeah, that's nuts.
That's not normal.
No.
For people that are wondering, especially for an artist that's signed.
Right.
And my label, literally, shout out to Warner, they all stepped it up. They basically managed me for a year.
So cool.
And that was just because they actually enjoyed working with me.
Right.
And I told them, hey, I'm struggling and I need help with this. And they actually showed up. And it's so cool. Like, the Lord is so kind in putting those people in my life.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just felt so blessed in that season of waiting for management, because the Lord knew they're not coming for a whole nother year. So, hey, these people are going to help you.
But it is
Yeah.
cool. And I think too, even with just this whole little thought conversation, people want to, one, be your friend and work with you because you're authentic, because you're real, because you don't hide certain things, or you aren't trying to morph into anything. And so when you're very sure about who you are and what your purpose is and what you're trying to accomplish, it makes being your friend, who you are, makes being your friend very easy. And then I'm sure for your team, it makes being your team really simple as well, because it's like, wow, Jenna knows exactly who she is. She knows exactly what she wants to do. And so we just get to like fan that flame that's already burning, that's already lit. Like, they're not in there like trying to okay, just give us anything. Like, you've done the work and you are so sure, okay, this is what I'm called to do.
Yeah.
And so then it makes like supporting that and collaborating with that and being around that kind of like authenticity really fun. So It doesn't surprise me that your label is like, yeah, we'll hop on board, because that's fun. Like, you want to be around real human beings.
Totally.
And yeah, so anyway,
That's so
I love
sweet.
that about you. I love you.
I love you. I love about you. I love you. You're in love with me? That's literally what it felt like. It felt like you were confessing. I love that about you. I love you.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny. That felt like a movie scene.
Oh, that's funny.
I'm trying to think of like one last question to give you. Is there anything that you want to talk about specifically that you feel like you should talk about?
I mean, I think it's all just surrounding kind of what we're talking about. Being still and knowing that He is God. Being truly authentically yourself, and trusting that He's taking care of all of the little details, and that He does promise to complete the good work in you that He started. And knowing that we can just take every day, even listening to you talk about 16 years old to now, and how 16-year-old you would look at you now and say, oh my goodness, how did we do that? That is so cool. You're doing it. We can rest and know that if we wake up every morning and seek God's face, we will look at ourselves in 5 more years and say, how are we doing that? I think the only way to get derailed from the 5-year plan, or like God's year for your life, would be to stop looking at His face. I think that is genuinely the only way, because hard trials are going to come. Hardship will come. Sad days, valleys, mountaintops, all of that will come. That is life. But I think the only way to get in the way of what He has for you is to stop seeking Him and to stop looking after Him. And so even just hearing you, I'm like, and I'm so excited for 26-year-old Jenna to say, oh my goodness, how did we get there? Well, I sought after the Lord, and He heard me, and He answered me. That's and so He was with me, and He fulfilled everything that He knew was inside of my heart. So
I love that, SP.
Anything you want to add?
I don't think so. I think we should pray.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Lord, thank you for this conversation. Thank you for my best friend SP and her turning 25. God, it's been so sweet to know her these past few years, which is absolutely insane how fast our friendship has flown by, Lord. But we've grown together, we've cried together, we've prayed together. And Lord, I pray that people this year truly find themselves in SP, and that they can have these kinds of conversations with their friends and with their community, Lord, especially for the girls and the guys that are listening and have that desire in their heart, God. I pray that you would put the right people in their lives that would encourage them to keep seeking after their dreams, Lord. And God, I pray that even if it isn't just a change of dream or a change of action and what they're doing in their lives, God, but Lord, I pray that you would just change their heart posture, and that would truly just change the outside look of their life, God. I pray that they would just have a fruitful life, and they would just seek after your face, God, and the glory of your kingdom, whatever that may look like. Yeah, Lord, I think that unless obviously people feel the desire to change, and they might have a change of heart in changing their dreams, Lord, but I pray that you would just give them peace with where they're at in life right now, God, that there's no rush, that there's no hurry, Lord, and that they're just working for your kingdom. Yeah.
I love it. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much for listening to Dream and Faith. If you liked what you heard, that makes us so happy.
Please tell your friends about the show and take the time to leave us a rating and review to help us connect to more amazing people like you.
Want to stay updated about the show? Follow us at Dream and Faith Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. If you want to know more about our lives and our music, you can find me, Jenna, on TikTok and Instagram at It's Jenna Rain.
And me, Sarah Payton, on TikTok and Instagram at Sarah Payton King. Dream and Faith is executive produced by our good friends at Mutual Friends.
Until next time, have faith and keep dreaming. The Lord has you.